some things that can absolutely wreck your cruise, or at least cost you a lot of money. In this video, I'm going to tell you what they are, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to avoid them so that you get your cruise just the way you want. The first mistake happens before you even step foot on the cruise, and that's when you're booking it. We want to make sure we avoid the mistake of choosing the wrong cruise line, the wrong ship, or the wrong itinerary. Let me give you a couple examples. Last year, a friend of mine, she went to Alaska with her young kids. It was a multi-generational cruise, and they went on a celebrity ship. Well, you know, she came back and Alaska was great, but those kids, they probably didn't have as much fun as they would have if they would have been on a Royal Caribbean ship that has water slides, or an NCL ship that has race cars. So you could see that picking the ship that's right for you is super important. Here are a few things I want you to think about when you're picking your cruise. And I'm gonna leave a checklist down below in the description that you can download so that when you're going to choose that first or second or whatever cruise you're on, that you know these are the things you should think about. So there are so many cruise lines to choose from, and you want to consider the atmosphere and vibe of the ship that you're on or the cruise line that you're on. So when I think of cruise lines like NCL, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Disney, I'm thinking families. These are cruise lines that cater to families. Now, I'm personally not at that place in my life. I want to go on a couples cruise with very few children. So for me, I'm more interested in a princess cruise, a celebrity cruise, or a Holland American cruise. If you're somebody who likes something a little more upscale, there's cruise lines like Viking Cruise Lines, Region of the Seas. There's all sorts of cruise lines, different categories that you have to choose from. Once you've chosen your cruise line, you want to think about your destination and your itineraries. So the three most popular ports are the Mediterranean, Alaska, and the Caribbean. If you're going on a first cruise, I suggest you on one of those. Why? Just about every one of those cruise lines sails there, and they're really good at catering to cruisers. So you will have lots of excursions to choose from, lots of activities to choose from, because those ports are geared towards you and cruisers. You might ask, Christy, what is a good length cruise for a first cruise? Now you could do a little taster, a little 3 or 5 day, but to me, I think to get your best bet on that first cruise, to get a real vibe and sense of what it's like, a 7-day cruise is just right. So a 7-day cruise to the Caribbean, to the Mediterranean or Alaska, that's a nice sweet spot for a first cruise. We talked about this a little bit, but you want to think about the onboard activities and amenities. If you want a rock climbing wall, don't go on a Cunard ship. If you want to avoid children, don't go on a Disney ship. So you want to think about what are the onboard activities and amenities you are looking for when picking your cruise. When cruising, size does matter. If you want your cruise ship to be your destination and you're looking for lots of onboard activities and amenities like water slides and rock climbing walls, then you might think about one of the mega ships that are out there. NCL has some of them. Royal Caribbean has the biggest one on the sea. So size matters. Now, what about if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you would like a smaller, more intimate? That you could go with a luxury cruise line or even one of the smaller ships. So when you choose, for example, if you choose Royal Caribbean as your cruise line, you really want to investigate not just the cruise line, but you want to investigate the ship, because the older ships have very different onboard activities and amenities than the newer ships. Those are things to consider when picking your cruise. The next thing on your checklist is cost. There are different levels of cost and kind of groupings. So your costs and inclusions, so ships like Carnival and MSC are your budget cruise lines. One up from that are like Princess, Celebrity, Holland America, Cunard, even Disney, which is kind of on the higher end of that. And then you have luxury cruise lines like Viking, Ocean Cruises, and Seven Seas. there are tons of luxury cruise lines as well. Moving on to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 has to do with choosing the right cabin location. So when you're choosing your cabin location, you want to think about where it's located in relationship to other cabins. So let's just say you want this cabin. That one's perfect. You want to have cabins on 5 sides. So what does that mean? You're gonna have a cabin above, a cabin below, a cabin to the right, a cabin to the left, and a cabin across the hall. You don't wanna have, like, let's say crew, like where they, I don't know, get their sheets and towels across from your room, because you're gonna hear them throughout the night. The other thing you want to avoid is an interconnecting door, unless of course you want an interconnecting door. Mistake number 3 is not having travel insurance. You might think, I don't need travel insurance. I'm young, I'm healthy. What do I need travel insurance for? Because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's what insurance is all about. So you want to get the travel insurance just in case. Here's something to think about too. You get travel insurance and for some reason you have to go to the medical on the ship, which is expensive. You want to save all those receipts and all the documentation so that you can get reimbursed once you get off the ship. This next one may be a little bit controversial, and that is buying the drink package. You might think, I'm going on a cruise because I want that drink package. Yeah, I can understand that. I was very excited on our first cruise to have a drink package. But since then, I've really thought twice every single time I go on a cruise, because I think, okay, if I get a drink package, I'm gonna drink more than I would if I just get one drink at a time. And you know, sometimes it's a good thing, a little bit of moderation. Next, you wanna think about how many port days you have. If you are in Alaska or another place where it's very port intense, you're not on the ship to drink. You're gonna be buying drinks in town. So that's something else to think about too. So before you dish out $60 to $100 on a drink package, you really want to do the math to make a decision of, is that really where you want to spend your vacation dollar? You've chosen your cruise line, you've got the right cabin, you've decided if you're going to get the drinks package or not, and you're on the cruise. It's Embarkation Day, your mistake. Don't fly in on Embarkation Day to your cruise port. You want to get there at least a day ahead. You never know what's going to happen with the airlines the way they are, with weather, all those things. So you want to make sure you fly in at least a day before so you can avoid the stress that goes along with that. The last thing you want to do is start your cruise all stressed out because you're running to get to the ship because they're not waiting for you. Mistake number 6 is having the right documentation. So depending upon where you're going, you might need a passport, you might just need your birth certificate. You'll want to look very specifically at what you're expected to bring. Here's something to note and a mistake that we made on one of our last cruises. We were repositioning from LA to Vancouver. I had a passport, my husband had a passport, my mother-in-law had a passport, her husband had a passport card. Passport cards do get you into Mexico or to Canada if you're driving or on a ship. The problem is coming home. You cannot fly internationally with a passport card. The new passport cards, it says it right there on the back, but you want to make sure you check that out before you go. Here's something else to think about. Let's just say you're going to the Caribbean and you can just bring your birth certificate. If something happens and you're on an island and all you have is your birth certificate, I don't know, I just would feel more safe if I had my passport. Here's a tip with your passport. When you have your passport, you want to take a picture of this page, and then you also want to take a picture of the barcode on the back. That's the way they can quickly look you up. Mistake number 7 is not putting your phone on, bam, airplane mode. If you don't put your phone on airplane mode, it is going to connect to maritime, cellular, and data, and that is super expensive. You'll go home and have like a $700 bill. What can you do instead? First of all, when your phone is on airplane mode, you're going to connect to the ship's Wi-Fi, whether you purchased a Wi-Fi package or not. So there's all sorts of things you're going to be able to do on their app that you do not have to pay Wi-Fi for. The Wi-Fi is what's going to get you to connect to the world outside, your text messages, your emails, and depending upon the level that you have, even streaming. So if you don't get the Wi-Fi, if you don't purchase a Wi-Fi package, what are some alternatives? Well, when you get into ports, you can go to coffee shops. Lots of ports have Wi-Fi in the port that you can access. One thing that I think is a great idea is ask your waiter or somebody on the ship, where do you go for Wi-Fi when you're off the ship? Because that way you know, oh, that's a good place, they have Wi-Fi that you can use. Mistake number 8 is not wearing sunscreen, and bring that sunscreen from home, because it's gonna cost you a lot of money if you have to get on the ship. That very first day in your embarkation day, go ahead, your embarkation day bag, go ahead and throw your sunscreen in there. Because if you choose to go out on that sun deck and you don't have sunscreen, man, that's the worst way to start your vacation, getting all red lobstery on day 1. Bring the sunscreen and wear it. Mistake number 9 has to do with the port days. So when you go out on ports, you're gonna possibly want to do excursions. Excursions can run you anywhere from $40 to $1,000 for those once in a lifetime opportunities. Here's what I would suggest. You want to not only look at what the cruise line offers, so look at what the cruise line offers, and then consider third-party vendors like Viator or shoreexcursions.com. I'll put a link in the description below to see what do they have to offer. They often offer very similar excursions for a fraction of the price and with smaller groups. So it's a mistake not to investigate. However, if this is your first cruise and you're a little anxious, then I might go ahead and go with the cruise line's excursions just to make you feel comfortable. If you do go with a third-party vendor, make sure you look at their terms and agreements. Because let's just say if you are booked through the cruise line and for some reason you miss a port, they're automatically just going to credit your account. However, you want to make sure that's the case with whatever vendor you book through. We're still in port and we're on mistake number 10. Mistake number 10 has to do with knowing what the all aboard time is. So what I do, I walk off the ship, I take a picture of the sign with the all aboard time. You want to make sure that your phone is set manually to whatever time the ship expects. So find out, do they expect you to come back at ship time? Do they expect you to come back at local time? Are they different? That's super important, because let's just say your port time is a 1 hour different from your ship time and you're an hour late. You just missed the boat, because that ship will sail away. They cannot wait for you. Mistake number 11 is not bringing your daily planner with you when you go on shore, or at least taking a picture of it. On your daily planner, it'll have the phone number for the ship, the phone number for the port. So if for some reason something happens, you have an accident, your excursion is running late, you can contact the port, you can contact the ship and let them know, and they can help you. They can also make sure that you know where you need to go. So let's just say you get separated from your excursion group for some reason, and you don't know where the boat is, where the ship is. Here's where you can use that phone number, call them up, and find out this is where you need to be. Mistake number 12 is not washing your hands. Oh my gosh. How many people have you heard or stories have you seen of norovirus breakout on a ship? Make sure that every time I wash my hands before I got to the buffet, wash them again. They're standing there, washy, washy, just wash your hands. Here's what I do. I wash my hands with soap and water. Then I go to the buffet and get the food. Then I always just use one hand for serving, and I use one hand to hold my plate. Then what I do before I go sit down is I walk by, there's always like a hand sanitizer station. I get some hand sanitizer in the hand that I used to serve up the food. Then when I sit down, put my plate down, now I'm confident that my hands are clean, because this is what happens. You'll get quarantined to your room, you're gonna be sick and feel like crap, and you've just wasted all your vacation time and money because you didn't wash your hands. Here's a bonus tip. You want to bring a first aid kit. So let's just say you don't feel well on the cruise. Maybe you're seasick. Maybe you got a headache. Maybe you have indigestion. Have a few things in your bag so you don't have to go pay for them at the store on the ship, which is super expensive, or even more expensive is going to the medical center. So have that seasickness medicine, have some pain, headache medicine, have some antacids, just have them ready. Again, a little insurance and a little first aid kit. Those are some of the biggest mistakes that cruisers make. And if you're heading to Alaska, you might want to watch this video next, where I tell you all about the mistakes that Alaskan cruisers make and how to avoid them. Happy sailing!